Welcome back, friends. Lost Scarf here, and it's time for the newest Kirby's Dreamcast. Here we talk about everything Kirby, from the games to the anime to the manga, and more. Kirby's Dreamcast. This podcast can be found everywhere podcasts are hosted and on YouTube. The advantage to the YouTube side is that I put footage of what I'm talking about on screen, and the YouTube side is especially worth looking at when we are doing gaming episodes, like the recent Kirby and the Forgotten Land review. So today we're going to talk about everything we know about Kirby's Dream Buffet, which is coming out in a week. If you are struggling to find the price, it'll be $15. I thought it might be free to play, but 15 sounds good to me. In the description, I'll have links to the YouTube videos and a Japanese website so you can see everything I'm talking about for yourself. The idea here is that I'm gathering all the information for you in case you're just too busy to do it yourself, you know? Now, before we do all that, here's the current news on the podcast and Kirby. The 30th anniversary concert just happened, and it was awesome! And there were a couple interviews in there, and we'll have an in-depth episode on the concert in about a month. I'm going to look around the Kirby community and see if anyone is translating those interviews. If no one does, I'll see if I can hire someone to do it. If it isn't too expensive, I'll totally pay for the translation. The rate I've heard is like $1 for 100 words. I'm like, alright, so these interviews are long, that's gonna be a lot of money, so we'll see. Speaking of translations, someone recently translated the Kumazaki and crew interviews for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, so I plan on doing an episode talking about everything that was talked about in those interviews, and that should be a lot of fun. Future plans for the anime side of things, I want to get up to episode 20 on the YouTube side before we finally return to where we are in the series. The next episode of the anime series will be a two-parter, episodes 45 and 46. It's been a year since the last anime episode, and I apologize for taking so long, but things came up like the gaming episodes and other things. The YouTube and podcast episodes used to be one-to-one release, but then we got hit with a copyright claim that I don't know if it's real from Nintendo or not, and we've had to completely redo the YouTube side, so it's been slow going. Like, Nintendo kinda owns Kirby, but Hal's more the owner, so I don't know if it was real or a fake copyright claim, but you don't take risks with your channels, you know, so we're just redoing all the episodes, and it's taking a while, because we have to do it differently. For Dream Buffet, we'll be doing this hype episode, then a first impressions episode when a game comes out, and lastly, review after I 100% the game, however long that takes. Then in a couple years, we'll do an in-depth episode on the game like we're doing right now with Kirby Superstar, which will eventually be finished as well. That's on Jinx right now, she's working on other things, but eventually it'll come out. These are me working on them myself. So with all that out of the way, let's talk about everything I could find on Kirby's Dream Buffet. So we'll do this in order of information we can get. So the first is the first buffet trailer, the overview trailer, and the Japanese website. So in the announcement trailer, Kirby's about to enjoy some keiki, and then he grabs what we now know is the Dream Fork, and it makes him tiny. What's awesome about this is that he's smaller. That makes all food bigger. And I love the realization on Kirby's face when he realizes that. A mountain of keiki, who can beat that? Then other Kirby colors fall from the sky and they roll around together to have keiki. I like how sometimes Kirby just reverts to ball. Lore-wise, you can't help but wonder if these are the amazing mirror Kirbys or copy Kirbys. Someday we'll guess which they are, just gonna assume right now they're copy Kirbys because of the wide variety of colors. Then they show the title and really I can understand why some people are disappointed it's a party game. Dream Buffet sounds like the perfect name for a Kirby game collection, it really does. Oh my god, it's such a good name. And the Japanese name is Gourmet Festival, by the way. Which is also a good collection name, I swear. Then we see Master Hand starting the race as Kirby and some Model Ds wave at the camera. First we see a lot of racing, then an arena, and then Kirby with powers, and lastly the Kirbys getting weighed and one of them winning. And everyone fixated on the sad yellow Kirby after they lose. They still got keiki though, so they shouldn't be too sad, just not as much as everyone else, that's all. And all we knew was that it would be out in summer and it'd be in the eShop. In the trailer we saw that there's racing and arena sections and that Kirby will have powers, but the rest we had to guess at. There was some information on the Japanese website like colors, and people really gravitated to Chocolate Mint Kirby, and some people called this game Kirby Fall Guys, and they aren't inaccurate when you think about it. In the overview trailer we got a lot more information. We learned that the fork is the Dream Fork, we see and learn that the objective is to eat the most strawberries over 3 game types. These game types are race, minigame, and battle royale. Also that it's a 4-player multiplayer game. The first game type being race, where the point is to eat as many strawberries as you can as you head to the end. The more strawberries you have, the bigger and stronger you are, so you can bump others off the stage. So that's pretty cool, and we see that in the footage. This is something Mario Kart does, where heavier racers can bully lighter racers. But in this one, heavier also means faster, so that's interesting. Then surprise! Copy food abilities, and we're first shown Tornado Cupcake Kirby. They show all 8 abilities on the screen, and specifically talk about a couple, and we see the rest used quickly in the game footage. I'll go over all 8 when we get to the Japanese website. So Tornado Kirby can suck up lots of strawberries, then we see Jelly Kirby, which is completely new ability we've never seen before. And this one lets him slip through breakable walls, which I assume requires players to get big enough to break through normally. Lastly, we see High Jump Kirby, which lets you skip a portion of the racetrack. This is good and bad in that you can skip a hard section, but you're also skipping strawberries, but we also learned that first place ends up getting a bunch of strawberries. First place gets 50 strawberries, second gets 20, and third gets 10, and a sad 0 for last place. The second game type is minigame, where a variety of stages of minigames are played to get as many strawberries as possible. I'm curious how many mini stages there will be, and is it just one stage or a couple, and one minigame or a couple? There could be a big variety here for sure. We're shown 4 minigame stages in the video, and more later. Then the last game type is Battle Royale, where powers that weren't in the other modes will show up here since they're more for combat. This one is Kirby's knocking each other off the stage to get strawberries from each other. It's just stealing. So it's possible to do really well in the first 2 types and then lose it here, so that's sad. They then show Drill and Stone Kirby abilities, and they also show but don't tell Spike Kirby. I could see some people not liking the setup. They could be really good at race and minigame and then be terrible at Battle Royale, and that would make them unhappy, and we don't want people unhappy. Then we're shown rewards you can get, which are hats, costumes, and color variations. And there's also starting pedestal rewards based on Kirby's entire library. So that's cool. They also show that the more strawberries you have, the more stages you could play on, and wow, the variety we see. We see about 16 stages in the footage, and they're all food or character based. We see cupcakes, macaroons, orange cream, mint chocolate, cake, Kirby swirl, a burger stage, Megalore, sandwich stage, donuts, Elfalin, pancakes, chocolate, Wispy Woods, and 2 more cakey stages. I am totally hyped to play all this. They then show you can do 2-player local co-op and 4-player wireless as well, and of course, online play is an option if you have Nintendo Online. Here in the footage we see that Kirbys can knock each other into the screen and another ability. I assume this is Invincible Candy ability. Lastly, we just see more gameplay and see things like Kirby in orange as Bandana D, and then the orange cream minigame, Master Hand can just steal you away. We also see what appears to be a main screen menu at the end of the footage, and lastly we learn the release date is August 17th, 2022, and I am so hyped. I'm totally going to stream and play this game for a couple hours that day. If we can play with friends, I'll be hyped to play with anyone who comes. I'll put my Switch friend code in the description as well. So now let's talk about the Japanese website. It says Gourmet Festival on their side. You get the same overview of the game on the site, but the big thing is you have more information. There's more footage of all 3 game modes too, which is great. I have screenshots of the website here on the YouTube side of things. Something cool is that you get to see more stages like a banana pudding stage, a ramen stage, and a wafer cookie stage, so that's cool right there. Then there's all 8 powers, so Cupcake Tornado can suck up strawberries and hit other Kirbys, Crunchy Star Spike Kirby can spike other Kirbys, Donut Wheel Kirby can run over other Kirbys and be a boost in race, Jelly Kirby can pass through enemies, Kirbys, and walls, Chocolate Brick Kirby can rock slam and hit other Kirbys with a shockwave, Pepper Blaze Kirby can burn other Kirbys, Gummy High Jump Kirby can spring ahead and blast the area they land, hitting other Kirbys, and Carrot Drill Kirby can make a drill explosion to hit other Kirbys in the Battle Royale, like in Forgotten Land. After that, we see there's a variety of colors and hats, so you can make Kirby into other characters like King Dedede Kirby, Coo Kirby, Megalore Kirby, Elfalin Kirby. Elfalin's funny because it's just a hat, and it's just Melfalin, so hilariously just think you're just rolling and crushing Elfalin every roll. Someone also found footage of Meta Knight Kirby, so that's really cool to see. So you can, if you want, headcanon that it's Meta Knight and join Keiki. They also show pads you can have, and it was mentioned it's going to have every character, so we can see Kirby, King Dedede, Elfalin, DeRoach, Marks, Bandana D, and more. And oh, I can't wait to see if they have what they have for Ribbon, because I like Ribbon a lot. What's her pad like, and also do you get like her wings for Kirby with a color scheme? That'd be cool. Random information, from playing the Japanese footage, I heard some Kirby's Dream Course music, and while playing Kirby and Forgotten Land Treasure Road, I theorized that maybe we could get a new Dream Course game, because the way they designed the stages in Treasure Road, I think they could design a new Kirby's Dream Course, with Ball Kirby. I was a bit off, we got Dream Buffet as what's coming, but hey, sometimes you can theorize off old games what new games may be. Because, I'll tell you this, the Void Termina fight, that was their first test into the waters of 3D to see if they could do Forgotten Land. After they did that, they were convinced they could do Forgotten Land. So that's everything I could find for Kirby's Dream Buffet. Well, I'll get to enjoy it in a week, but I thought, why not give everyone the information I could find right now, because not everyone has the time to dig through and find everything. So there you go. On release day, I'll be streaming and enjoying the game, and recording footage for future episodes, and for a Scarf's play on my main channel. Everyone's welcome to play against me if we can do that in the game. So this has been Kirby's Dreamcast. Most likely the next YouTube episode will be episode 17 of the anime. The next general episode for the podcast will be the first impressions of the Dream Buffet. Share us with your friends. We are the only Kirby podcast, and I want to talk with more people about Kirby you have comments, leave them on the YouTube side or reach me on Twitter at Kirby Dreamcast. You can find this podcast everywhere podcasts are hosted and, of course, on YouTube. So I had fun. I hope you had fun too, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.